already kind of expecting that. And the Angela for the roam.
Oh, what? Okay, I love it. There's so many targets for the Angela. So that's an XP lane.
Bring the game number 2 after watching TNC have a pretty good decisive game 1 against TLPH, and we'll see if they can do it again this time around. But hey, the drafts are interesting here. Yeah, there's not much of a counter. Maybe they don't interact too much, but what are we looking at here, Inga?
Literally, I'm not used to JP rocking something as passive as defensive as an Angela. We've seen JP always, most of the time, rock the Tigreals with this amazing implosion plays. But right now, well, what are we going to say with JP? Goes in with a hard guard.
JP goes in with a hard guard. He's got a focus mark, you know?
Yeah.
Boom, extra damage, like at that point. But so then again, you're kind of, when you look at TLPH's lineup, you know, it's not so much of what JP is necessarily doing. Hold on, Escalera.
Want to get an early pick off here for Carl TZ. Onto Escalera, dodges it with a flicker. Walk to the right, flicker to the left. Escalera stays alive.
So he stays alive, but yeah, going back to it, you know, JP, he's, yeah, it's going to be like, where does he go with the heart guard? But also, that's what Sanford, and, you know, we've seen this time and time again with, whoa, that damage!
Damage, popping their vitalized Sanford, manages to stay alive. And you can hear the crowd really screaming, because that was a good play from Sanford, though. And now TNC trying to match the aggression Carl TZ was showing down bottom as JP reinforces Sanford here with the love waves. And okay, so right now, JP gonna be defensive as possible, gonna be the second life of his frontliners. And the beauty of this lineup of TLPH, Sanford can just soak up the damage and actually expect Benny QT to go for those crowd controls, to go for those I'm offended plays out of nowhere. So first, so Sanford and Benny QT can just interchange with what role they want to play.
Yeah, whoa, again.
Beautiful thought on Sanford once again. Sanford, one more hit. Hatred flickers in to deliver the final blow, and Carl TZ says, I'm out. He was there.
Yeah.
He had a pinch poise, he was there, he went out, and now Escalera tries to go for the purple buff invade of Carl TZ. He's trying to zone him out as SDCYC works on the turtle, forcing out the Tempest of Blades even. Goes in with the 4 blades, but heads, though, as tanky as possible with the Revitalize.
Yep, too tanky for that. SD has the information, too, on what just happened with Carl TZ, so he's going to just make a straight line for the orange buff. Carl TZ is going to fight that one.
Okay, so right now SDCYC also depriving Carl TZ of his orange buff. But might be able to escape here as Escalera goes in once again. He also uses the kick, the Way of the Dragon, as JP uses the hard guard onto Carl TZ. And just look at the aggression of TNC, trying to match what they did during game number 1, already establishing a 1.1k gold lead early on. Just imagine if Escalera got picked off by Carl TZ during the 1 minute mark. Yeah. This would be a different story for game number 2.
It would be, and that's why every single time TNC, they do a relatively good job in the early game, and they're doing the same thing here. This is why, again, the Julian is such a great pick for a lot of these teams that like to play aggressive and early on. And, you know, typically when you see a Cho here, like, you're going to be like, all right, Escalera is going to do his thing. He's going to get pick-off potential and everything like that. But so far, everybody from TNC has really been playing the part in the early game. Even with Hatred, for example, depending on what ultimate he takes. Yeah. They're trying to make a play here again on Sanford.
Again on Sanford, using the Glorious Pathway, but here comes 3 reinforcements coming in from TLPH. Even Sanji enters the frame as they try to work on heads, but the Revitalize, though, coming in from TNC. Out-sustaining the damage, might be able to bring down Sanford, but Sanford brings down SDZYZ first as he manages to escape with the assistance of the love waves from Daddy JP.
Hey, that's as clutch as it gets when you play an Angela, man. You might not be making huge sets, but I'll tell you what, you get clutch love waves.
Clutch love waves is what Sanford needed to deliver that outplay, and heads-up play as well for Carl TZ along with JP to reinforce Sanford there down to the bottom lane. That was a good initiation from TNC. But again, the panel mentioned this, even you. How fast can JP react with a hero as passive as an Angela? And so far, he's making it work. Again, clutch love waves to save Sanford.
Yeah, so with this objectives up, they're going to drop down the pathway to cut him off.
Oh, 2 pathways have been placed down here.
Crossroads.
Crossroads and Carl TZ. Look at JP just really waiting for the perfect opportunity to cast the Heart Guard, and he did cast it as diversion onto the backline. manages to find Kozin. Kozin has to walk away though, and here comes the clash. Tempest of Blades coming in from Carl TZ as he brings down heads. And a counterattack for TLPH as they try to work on the turtle. Escalera still in the picture. And TLPH looks like this will be a clean turtle take. Whoa! Pump it on a string, putting Escalera in between the 5 members of TLPH. He's gonna fall down.
Wow. So just in that little instance, TLPH gets quite a bit through that. They also get the turtle, they get the objective secured, and this is where you kind of see them playing around the fact that you have Sanford here on this Hylos, the power of the Revitalize being used too. Look at this. They're just throwing that down. Whoa,
I thought it was a fake diversion, but they really want to go right after Kozin. But manages to trade for JP as well, a 1-for-1. Here comes Templars of Blades coming in from Carl TZ as he picks off Escalera once again. Benny Cutie managing to find SDZYZ. SDZYZ comes in with a stun, and the clash will stop. But that was a decisive diversion play from the whole squad of TLPH.
Guys, please do not try that in your ranked games. It's probably not going to work. It's going to take a certain amount of coordination to drop that down. But what a play from TLPH, utilizing exactly that kind of surprise factor with the lineup that they get here. And, mind you, too, that's part of the fact why, Benny Cutie picking up the Ruby here plays a part in all this, because sometimes you don't have to worry too much if you're Benny Cutie. You just go and try to get a pull in and let the rest of the team cap off on that pull.
Yeah.
And right now, all that's happened in the past couple minutes, TNC has lost that lead they built up.
Yeah. Again, Carl TZ rocking a Ling with a Warcry, and Sanji as well with lethal ignition. So in terms of damage, they're not going to lag, but here comes again the aggression of the cavalry, bringing down Kozin in heads. Wants to work on Escalera here as Hatred tries to survey the scene. Again, TLPH only losing Sanford in exchange for an XP laner, and the gold laner is SDZYZ will try and trade for a bottom lane turret.
All right, SD gets the turret. Right now, TLPH is just like, you can't stop them where they decide to go with a diversion. That's always the upper hand that Aloy brings to the table. And so TNC is kind of just in a position where, like, we got to scrap and find out what we can, and then hope that we're actually prepared for this rush from TLPH wherever the diversion is. Escalera going to try to find something with the conceal. Won't be able to find Benny Cutie or JP earlier on. Turtle's still up, though, and also Carl TZ still going to make his way once he gets this purple buff locked down. So right now, the stare-off, the standoff for the last turtle of the game.
I like how what Sanji did, just sending Carl TZ to the bottom lane, ensuring that he's going to clear the minions and again get his purple. Ling is a really mobile hero, but paired up with Louis makes him more mobile, agile, and right on time for this potential at the last turtle clash as Escalera hides in the brush here, wanting to go for the proper target. Sanford zoning out the members of TNC as TLPH works on the turtle. JP has the hard guard ready to Carl TZ, and here comes the taunt coming in from Heads. Templars of Blades coming in from Carl TZ. As he tries to bring down Heads, he will do it successfully. He goes right after Kozin, but look at Escalera catching Carl TZ with a Wave of the Dragon. Here comes the counterattack coming in from TLPH, a pull coming in from TNC. They're going to manage to bring down Benny Cutie, but at what cost? A double kill coming in from Carl TZ as they bring down 3, but Kozin answers right back. It's going to be a 1v1 between SDZYZ and Sanji, a jungler for a mid laner.
No way, Sanji.
Sanji, though, he's going to get stunned on the enhanced chains, and SDZYZ with the shutdown and a mega kill.
Yeah, there's nowhere that Sanji should win that 1v1 against the Julian, so SD makes sure it doesn't happen. He goes and cleans house and puts TNC back in the driver's seat for this game. They also, before all that broke out, SD was the one that got the turtle too, so that's all great for them. And taking a look at the items here, they are falling into place. Some key items, he does have that Holy Crystal and the Feather of Heaven already, so that's the thing, he's got good damage. Meanwhile, on the other side, we saw Kozin, fight under the turret. Part of this, again, mind you, we just have to state the obvious. TLPH is taking a lot of chances. They're utilizing the fact that they have a diversion, and they're playing pretty darn aggressive, I would say, right? In a lot of situations where they're not, they're kind of just full sending everything at this part of the game because of the fact that, they just want to go and fight and push TNC to the limit here. There it is again, diversion.
Full send. The map is quiet as TLPH
No one's there.
tries to go for a pick-off here, wanting to go for a pick-off. And I really need to see an instant replay of the clash up top because I honestly don't know what happened. It was a huge clash, a lot of isolated fights. But one thing for sure is TNC got the win. Again, as you mentioned, they got the turtle plus a wipeout onto TLPH. And now this is where things will get interesting. How will TLPH use the diversion this time since the Lord has already respawned?
Well, this objective is up. TLPH and TNC both going to get in position for it, and really it's just the biggest thing for TNC is just playing around the diversion, making sure that they don't get caught out from wherever TLPH decides to go, and that's why it's also so important for Escalera and even Heads to an extent of scouting out the area, right? Scouting things out, because meanwhile, this whole thing too, Carl Teasy's not really going to show up to this fight right away. He's going to push in the side lanes, he's going to grab his buffs while he can, and let TNC start it up, and then they join the fight. So really it should be up to TNC's momentum on this fight, or their pacing, if you will, to start this up. There's diversion.
Okay.
He's going to go for a reset here.
Oh, it's going to miss though. Time offended flicker play, plus the glorious pathway. This might be the crucial opening that TNC is waiting for, as TLPH tries to maneuver out and make something out of that mishap. Again, TNC Escalera, though, he has the pressure to make sure to save the kick. The way of the dragon for Carl TZ. They still have the heart guard, so they can contest for this Lord. TNC still hasn't full committed yet. Benny QT, those I'm offended play has a fast cooldown, so it's now active.
A reset, though.
Okay, now a hard reset for both of these teams, and again, a diversion play.
Yep, goes for the reset. You know, Benny, you're going to have to get a little bit closer.
Okay.
You know, right now, they're going to start it up, hold it up here. TNC still on the play, though, too. They can still respond to this. Again, one of the minor advantages are that they also hold on to that tier 1 turret in the mid lane, so they have a little more space to work with against TLPH since that one is down. But it's nonetheless, it's all just, again, this diversion. Whenever Sanji has it available, TNC keeps her head on a swivel. Escalera will use the conceal, spot things out, scout things out. They might want to just make this play here, but right now, neither team committing a good wave, pushing up top. That JP has to go ahead and answer, but still the stalemate between the two teams.
Okay, there's another reset. And the beauty of the lineup of TLPH, having JP, but look at Escalera. Okay, commits the kick onto Sanford. They're not going to burst him down, though, as Carl TZ goes after the backline, wanting to go for Hatred. He's going to burst him down, plus the hard guard coming in from JP was so clutch. Here comes the Heads with the Revitalize, but they're working on Escalera, punishing the Phoenix Army as they bring down 2. TLPH wins that clash.
Yeah, right now they could possibly still look for more, but they might just take the Lord off of that. So we'll see. SD waiting on the side, waiting on the whims. Diversion going to be used.
Oh, okay, here comes the catch of TLPH, but SD manages to escape, though, as TLPH tries to work on the Lord. Look at the damage coming in from Kozin. Sanford might fall down here in the hands of Kozin. A counterattack from Phoenix Army is possible, but SDZYZ instead resulted to going home as Carl TZ gets the Lord, might get a pick off on 2 heads, but manages to escape with AOJ. Carl TZ chases right after him. Plus again, the clutch heart guard coming in from JP. Benny QT with a catch onto Escalera. And TLPH got the kill and the Lord.
TLPH, you can play pretty confidently and aggressively when you know you have a Angela on your team. Especially like we're seeing here from Carl TZ. Really locked in on trying to find some of these pickoffs if he can. They got the Lord, so they're going to be pushing with this. Diversion again, SD.
Oh, round 2, but SDZYZ knows that there's a catch. But the stun coming in from Sanford is enough to burst him down. And here comes the TPs from the Cavalry. They still have the Lord up top, so TNC needs to defend this push.
They're going to have to defend it. Down SD. Still have to deal with the Lord as well. And right now, they're just trying to get a window to work around. They're going to have to do their best to hold on to even the base turrets at this point. They still have Escalera, they still have Heads, possibly to find a pickoff for something, but right now it's just a full force and a very tanky front line even from TLPH as the top turret finally goes down.
TLPH stampedes through the top lane base turret as they try to work on the middle lane turret as well here. TNC going to manage to burst down the Lord. And again, it's going to be a waiting game before game number 2, TLPH might just wait for the next Lord, or if they do pull off a pickoff, especially with Sanji's diversion, they can end this even before getting the Lord.
Well, with a nice lead, TLPH still waves pushing in too. I wouldn't be surprised if they at least try to get the rest of the turrets down, even without waiting for the Lord here. They still have a minute away. Wave still pushing in, but right now TNC, even on the defense, if you look at the lineup that they have, and also depending on what Hadrid takes for the ultimate, which right now he's holding on to Benny Cuties, I'm offended, they can actually have a good defense. They can turn this around. It's not too out of hands for TNC, and it looks like they'll still hold on to 2 turrets. You can already see too, the way that they're farming up. Kozin eventually is going to be part of that plan for TNC. We saw the amount of damage you could do, obviously, to Sanford, but part of the hard part about it is the positioning.
Yeah.
You know, and that's because when you're playing against an Angeline combo, you just know that
they're going to go for it.
They're just going to go for it. They're going to jump to the backside and force you to basically retreat. And on top of it, you're slowed down by a glorious pathway, or being grabbed or cut off with even of a diversion. So there's so many boxes that TNC has to worry about when it comes to actually counter fighting into what TLPH throws at them.
Yeah, can I just commend JP?
Yes, you can.
With how his playing has been playing this Angela. Look at the death of Carl TZ. Just one, despite a very long game, despite 9 kills coming in from TNC, making sure that his jungler, main source of damage, will in fact stay alive all throughout, even the extended clashes. So a good play here coming in from JP. And again, the luxury of having an Angela is it can split push and be on the clash at the same time.
You're like a support Mozkov.
Yeah.
We see Mozkov so much just staying in the sideline, but here it is, diversion.
Okay, diversion onto the backline. It's going to be Benny and Sanji. They're going to catch SD
Wow.
once again! And all of a sudden, it took them 1 second to bring down the jungler of the Phoenix Army. Here comes the attack coming in from Carl TZ, but the discipline of the champions will ensue here.
He got it that time. Benny goes in, gets the pull right on the target they're looking for. It's SD, which just, as soon as he's gone, that's an automatic Lord. The hands of TLPH, so TNC will have SD back up by the time they actually have to defend with this Lord push right now from TLPH, but as we're seeing it, they have to almost pull off a perfect team fight in order for this game not to go in the hands of TLPH right now, and really that's even for heads, like if he's able to get a great Avatar the Guardian ultimate down and gets the right taunts off, but they're going to try to hold on here.
Okay, Sanford goes in with a glorious pathway, trying to zone out Escalera as they work on the mid lane turret. The Lord is up top. They're going to look for initiation coming in from Benecuti as JP tries to reserve the hard guard from Carl TZ. Here comes SDCYZ trying to zone out JP here as TNC manages to burst down the Lord and save their bottom lane inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, they still got to be patient. SD did get a flicker out earlier from JP. I set on this bottom turret now. Now this is one of the difficult parts for TLPH. They don't have a traditional gold lane to play at range here, so they have to kind of just force the fight if they want to end it. And TNC knows this, so I'm keeping my eye also on Escalera, where he's able to find a possible kick. Diversion going to be used under the turret again. Benny.
Oh, okay. I'm offended. Play is going to miss there, but here comes the counter attack. AOG going to manage to catch Benny Cutie. But look at Carl TZ onto the backline, plus the hard guard. Benny's going to fall down, but Carl TZ is going to work on SDZYZ. They still have Minion trying to work on the bottom lane turret. Carl TZ and JP is still alive, but on the other hand, at the bottom lane, there is a clash here between the two members. Heads going in right after Sanford. He still has his immortality though, as Sanford picks up a kill onto Hatred. Here comes JP as well. Sanford's immortality will be popped. They're trying to work for Escalera. Glorious pathway. Gonna try and catch Escalera. Sanji this time goes for the diversion onto the back line. It's just SDZYZ left, and JP goes in with the heart guard. Game number 3 for TLPH.
Team Liquid of Philippines could have done it a little sooner, but they go the extended route, the long version, and they go and take us to a game 3 here. What a lineup they brought to game 2. We saw it, the diversion, time and time again, whether it was Sanji or whether they were sending the whole squad or Benny to try to get a pull. The LPH